BikeMS.org, Pedal to the Point. If you just by listening to this podcast, if you want to DM me or email me, please feel free to do so. My email is kelly.schneider@nmss.org, and I will give you a registration code for discount.
Welcome back, episode 3 of the Why Not Cleveland podcast. Thank you guys for watching. I know you guys are watching, but if you're watching, please like and subscribe so we can get more people to view this channel and get it monetized on YouTube. Today we have the Director of Development for the Bike MS. She's also a real estate agent. I work with her. She's a great person. This is going to be another exciting interview. Her name's Kelly. So how you doing today, Kelly?
I'm all right. It's
You
nice
doing
out.
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. How's everything been going so far this year for you?
Everything's been going great. I think we can go into it, but for me, for Bike MS, I am the Director of Development for Bike MS for the National MS Society. It's a major, large-scale fundraising event designed to end MS for those that are affected with MS, and that's kind of what we do. And so, in fundraising, obviously, as everyone knows, it's just been a little bit more difficult, with the state of our country and our government and what's going on. And, I can't really get into politics, but I am here to support the mission. And there's just no telling that it's clear and evident what's happening. We've lost funding. Luckily, we have a really good fiscally strong organization. And what that means is that it's basically funded by those folks that are passionate about our mission, and those folks who fundraise, those dollars are unrestricted, meaning that they're not government bound by any way, so they're not grants and such.
Okay.
But I will say that the grant funding that we have been affected, the Department of Defense has pulled one of our funding grants that is actually physically affecting the Cleveland Clinic Mellon Center in a big way, and it's heartbreaking because one of the neurologists that actually I know personally was working on that project, and it will affect how drugs and things are kind of coming down the pike for those that are affected. So it's a hard way to go right now.
Yeah,
it's not easy.
I didn't actually know that you guys were government funded at all.
They're very few and far between. We do obviously want to make sure we have a balanced sort of budget. So we have restricted funds and unrestricted funds, and any nonprofit really does kind of tap into those fundraisers and those funders, but then also wants to make sure that we're balanced in such a way for applying for the grants that we're able to apply for. And we do that in partnership with our partners in care, and they really drive some of that work. So if they know that, for instance, there is a grant out there that's being government backed, most oftentimes it's, a doctor who is kind of applying for that, and then we'll apply, as a secondary or whatnot to kind of back that up. And that's how that works.
Okay. So, we dove right into it as far as the MS.
Yeah.
So let me get some questions then. Since we're going that route, since you're no longer getting as much money from the government as you can, what are you guys going to do as far as expanding privately funding for the MS?
It's not really just, so the expansion really is, and so it's such a hard question. Right now, because we are specific to ending, a disease for those that are affected by MS, luckily we have very, very passionate people that still are very involved in our cause. And being a fundraiser, no matter who you are, if you're fundraising locally, if you're fundraising grassroots, or for a national organization, you really are kind of taking out of the same basket, if you will. And it just makes our jobs a little harder. But what reminds me of those things is just like for Peyton and just like for those people that I've met that are affected by MS, I have current best friends now that are affected with this disease, and that keeps me going. We do get a lot more no's than we ever have. And it's not a no, sorry, whatever. It's a really, their people are apologetic about it.
Yeah.
It's something that they just can't do. And that's hard.
Yeah.
But we don't stop, we continue.
Yeah.
Our strategy just pivots and we change, and we just try to meet people where they're at. That's all.
Right. Just because you guys can't get the funding to stop doesn't mean that the disease doesn't stop, you know?
The disease ain't going nowhere unless we
Exactly.
stop it. And I have heard our CEO, he's our new CEO, but he's been, kind of a part of our organization for a really long time. And he knows way more than I do. Their money will stop this disease, period.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of the time and the more that we can kind of make those ends meet so that we can get the research done to be able to stop it. So
Yeah.
that keeps me going. It does.
So you yourself, you personally don't have MS. So what made you so passionate about getting into the MS Society and becoming director of development, bike ride? I mean, you got your hands in a lot of pots.
Yeah. No, I do. So it started with being in real estate for so long, working for Hesh. I started working for Hesh Sagafi many years ago in the early 2000s and being in the real estate world and the mortgage world. And then eventually going to what the mortgage people would say, the dark side, getting my license as a realtor. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then, falling into a really great situation. Mark has always been a cheerleader of mine. He's just a good man. I loved my office. I loved being there. As a realtor, being in, getting licensed in 2011, 2012, I had known the mortgage industry for so long. We come off the crash at that time and things were hard. But for me, resilience has always been a part of my disposition.
Mm-hmm.
So I took it as an opportunity. I started doing really well in real estate and that afforded me a lot of time. Because as you know, there is really good, you're always busy, but then you do have a lot of downtime. And
You
so
do.
right?
Yeah.
And so in this downtime, I thought, how can I take this downtime and really start to focus on things that I'm passionate about and kind of start to give back? And as a realtor, I also feel like we're helping people too. You're an advocate in some way. And so I started figuring out what I wanted to do with my time. And I fell into a situation where I started to volunteer for an organization locally that was anti-human trafficking organization called the Imagine Foundation.
Yeah. Which is a big thing in Ohio.
Yes. And at the time, this was 2012. And at the time, the governor and our Cuyahoga County prosecutor, they were implementing a bunch of things because we had found out a lot of things around Route 2 and 90 and big rings that were kind of going on. And so I just fell into that. And I fell in love with being able to fundraise for that mission. And it's interesting because what I found was the intersection of the people and the networking that I had been able to procure over the years, those people showed up.
Mm-hmm.
I had our first fundraiser for the Imagine Foundation. Everyone in our office was supportive. Mark was there. Hesh came. My friends from title companies came. They showed out, they showed up, and they gave money. And it was really inspiring to me. And I thought, well, this is something,
Yeah.
It makes you feel good. And also you're doing something great.
Yeah.
And
helping other people.
Well,
yeah, which is a big thing. I mean, even though it ties in real estate, besides the real estate part, just always being a good person is first, right?
100%. It's fulfilling. And I thought, wow, okay. So I did still have a lot of time on my hands. They asked me to man the board. I was. And that organization was wonderful and great. I think that they dissolved and they went on to do other bigger, better things. So I still had some time on my hands, and then I fell into volunteering for the Domestic Violence and Child Advocacy Center. And then I started working there part-time just because, again, I loved the mission. I started doing development work, which if anybody knows and doesn't know, development is basically fundraising. Mm-hmm. You're kind of procuring these funds to develop the organization. And that's kind of where I fell truly in love with everything and all of it. And I think those two organizations too I was drawn to them because it was close to my heart. I had they're growing up in the inner cities like I did, I think I just saw a lot. City girl, born and raised, still live in the city. I'm a big proponent of that. I think it's
City
important.
of Cleveland, right?
City of Cleveland, yeah.
Were you raised at? West, East?
East side. So I lived in Grovewood, but my grandparents and my aunt, who both kind of raised us, grandparents lived on 38th between Payne and Superior, and then my aunts and uncle lived on 77th in St. Clair. And so I kind of grew up in Grovewood and between those two areas.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Trinity. I went to St. Jerome when I was a little girl. And then when my parents moved, they moved to Garfield. So I went to Trinity for high school.
Okay, that's a nice school.
Yeah, it's a great school. Yeah, at the time. I mean, Mayor Bibb was a graduate, alum.
Oh,
So-
yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't
I mean,
know
many years after I.
I was about to say, y'all went to school together?
No. He is a far younger man than I. Yeah. No. And that was it. I think for me, being so close to the mission does get to burn you out a little bit. Those women, and it is 90% women that work there, 99% women that worked at the time that I did, they were doing God's work. And, I think if there's a certain kind of demeanor that you have to be kind of in the weeds in that, and they all do. And for me, it did get to me. And so I did take some time off after that.
Okay.
And then fast forward to my executive director who was there. I think she was the exec ED, or she was I don't remember what her role was at DVCAC, but she had worked for the National MS Society. She was hired on as their president, their chapter president, and she called me and she's like, I need you. There is a position open for Bike MS. And I'm like, what? Why? Nope. I'm done with philanthropy. I will write a check.
And how long had it been since you'd been out?
It had been like a year. Full disclosure, when I was at DVCAC, I had seen something that I couldn't necessarily unsee.
Right.
And again, I just was not built for that. And so it kind of took me out a little bit.
Yeah, so your plan was probably never to go back into it?
Never to go back into it. Support from afar.
Yeah.
I had done my good deeds. I thought I could just then switch to potentially, my friend Helena and I were thinking about starting our own, nonprofit for women and children, and trying to intersect them with first-time home buyers and things of that nature. And it was a tough thing. So I had just kind of left it alone.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it anymore. I just wanted to focus on real estate and raising my kids.
And one day you got a phone call and now you're questioning it, right? So
yeah.
What pushed you back to go back to it?
She is a good salesperson, Julie is.
What'd she say to sell you?
She I think she bended my ego a little bit. She said, you're the best candidate for this job. I immediately thought of you. I couldn't, think of anybody else that I'd want on our team. And I was like, okay, I'll throw my hat in and I'll apply. And I eventually did get the job. Now the job at the time was not development director. It was just an entry level specialist, Bike MS. Basically, I'd be just doing similar things. And what appealed to me was that really real estate was my forefront, and I can just help and feel good and, do something that was a little bit, and then I became manager, and then I became a development director.
Okay. And so what does that title involve as far as the development director? So do you put the plan together for the routes? Do you set up the vendors? And then I know there's multiple. There's not just the Cleveland one. I think you do Cincinnati.
So I oversee 5.
Okay.
Right now, when I was
all through Ohio?
3 in Ohio and 2 in Western Pennsylvania. So there are 3 in Ohio, 1 obviously Pedal to the Point that I specifically oversee with the help of our staff, of course. And then I hired Austin, who you've met, Austin, and he oversees. So he kind of oversees Bike to the Bay, which goes from Perrysburg to Port Clinton and back. And then we have 1 in Oxford. So that's one at Miami University. That's amazing. And then Kyle, who we just hired, he oversees the one in Pittsburgh. And then when we have 1 at Penn State, in Penn State College.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So are these newer, the ones in Pennsylvania?
No, the ones in Pennsylvania have been, so they're new for my portfolio.
Okay.
I've been development director for about a little over 2 years in that role. So I've been overseeing these 5 for a little over 2 years. But those rides are like 40 years deep. Escape to Lake is 40 years. This will be our 40th year there, and that's the one that's in Pittsburgh. The one in State College has been there for a while, but it's changed different locations and things. And Pedal to the Point, obviously this is our 39th year.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. Well, there's a lot with Pedal to the Point. We actually got it back, to a Cleveland area ride, which it wasn't for a while. This year's going to be great. I'm excited. I love it. I love everything about it.
And is it the same trails that have been? So from Coe Lake is the 100-mile.
Well, no. So we go from Baldwin Wallace to Sawmill Creek, which resort you've been there. Amazing, beautiful. That's for the 75-mile and for the 100-mile. And then the 35-mile loop goes in and out of Sawmill.
Right. Which I did last year.
Yes.
Which
How was that?
it was great. I mean, I feel like if people really want to do it, they can definitely do the 35-mile. They got kids doing the 35-mile. So.
Okay. But look, question for you though. Listen though, and this is what I want to poignantly explain. Not only did you do the 35-mile, how many miles did you train prior to that day?
Oh, I trained a lot though.
Did you?
Yeah.
Give me an idea.
I was probably doing 5 to 10 miles like 3 times a week.
That's amazing. And but this is, how new were you to cycling?
Oh, I had never done like a marathon for cycling ever.
Yes.
And neither had Peyton. Peyton has MS.
Yes.
And he did the 35. So I feel like anybody can do it.
Thank you.
And I was telling Sean over here.
Who's going to be on your team this year? Is that what I heard?
Sean ain't biking. He got too much work to do.
I hear that.
But I was telling him like Peyton has fatigue, and when he has fatigue, his leg gives out. And even though he had fatigue, he's like, zip tie my leg. Like, I'm finishing it no matter what. Like, he's so passionate about finishing it. So we zip tied his leg and he got it done. So no one has an excuse that they can't do it.
I couldn't agree more. I say this all the time. People, and Peyton is such a good example of that. And I'm so glad that he was there.
Yeah.
And I don't even think he trained a lot.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. He was just kind of showed up a little bit.
Yeah. He trained, but not as much because he can't.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. But he still did it.
I mean, so inspiring.
Yeah.
The kid is just inspiring. It'll bring a tear to your eye. And this is the things, right?
Yeah.
This is the stuff that makes you feel so good. And I loved meeting him, and I loved talking with him, and I loved having this little baby there, and I loved having that picture of his family is on my sponsorship documents, like
Are you
that
serious?
I send out. Yeah. Because you can't not love it.
Yeah.
You cannot not love it.
And then he had a good speech last year too.
Yeah. I'm so glad that I pulled out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
good.
It was great.
It was good. So as far as this year, do you have anything new going on? Anything different, new?
We do. So this year we are instituting a theme.
Okay.
And our theme is Margaritaville.
Oh, okay.
Because who would not want to do anything about a Margaritaville?
Yeah, and it's on a hot day.
It's on a hot day. We're on the lake. We're at a resort.
Yeah.
You can't not love any of that stuff. So we're doing, and the other thing is that we do, I think people, I'm not going to mention it, but we do run up against a very large ride that the Cleveland Clinic produces. I'm not going to say any names.
Okay. I'm familiar with that.
Okay.
It's
yeah.
around the same time.
We're 6 weeks out of that ride. And so what I want to do is I want to make this just more family oriented, lean into the fun stuff about it.
Yeah.
If we have a theme, maybe people can kind of like kick back and just understand, like, yes, you can ride 100 miles, you can ride 75 miles hardcore no matter what. But you can also just come and do the 35. Even if you make it 10 miles to the first, I'll come and get you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Pick you up.
We'll come and pick you up.
I've seen it done.
We have SAG support. We have
Yeah.
people out. That's the other piece. Like, I think people are sleeping on how greatly supported this ride
Yeah.
is.
There's a lot of people involved as far as the vendors, and then you have the rest stops and medical on like
Site.
It's a lot of people involved.
100%.
It's kind of incredible. And are you still doing vendors this year?
We are doing vendors this year. We've got the massage girls coming back. We actually just secured a new sponsorship for there's going to be a chiropractic health source of Rocky River. They're going to be there too on site. They're going to do some chiropractic stuff at the end.
Ooh, that's
foam
nice.
rolling and all of that good stuff too. I think it's going to be great. We're going to have people there just to support however they want to support, no matter what. You don't have to have a service. If you want to come and sit at Team Village and talk to our folks and, whatever, we'll let you.
Okay. And
there's no barriers to that,
Yeah. Some of your biggest sponsors, what's that, Left Hand Brewery?
So Left Hand Brewery is a national sponsor for us. And Chris, who actually runs Left Hand Brewery out of Colorado, comes in for this ride. And so you saw their tent last year.
Yeah, it was
right?
huge. It was a whole party.
It's a whole party. Well, so listen to this. So I had been talking to Jen. Shout out to Jen Hamilton. She's amazing. She's their team captain. And I was toying with the idea of doing a theme. I thought it would be cool. And I said, hey, Jen, what's your theme going to be this year? And she said, Margaritaville. I was like, Done.
Perfect.
Perfect. Yep.
So they'll be back again this year?
They come back every year. They supply the beer for us, which is amazing. I'm sure there's going to be margarita machines at certain places in the team village
It's
too.
okay. I'll find it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then your other sponsors are Primo and ACC?
Yes, those are our national kind of like premier sponsors. So
Okay.
those things kind of like go hand in hand. But right now we are very well heavily supported by Shores and Islands. They are amazing. If Lake Erie Shores and Islands, they really kind of like they're the community development and travel bureau for the Lake Erie Shores and Islands, and they give us so much support. So shout out to them; they're amazing. Our premier, though, our presenting sponsor this year is Burkett Restaurant Equipment, and they're out of Toledo. They're presenting sponsor actually for not only Pedal to the Point, but for Bike to the Bay. Great company. They've got two teams, one at Pedal to the Point, one at Bike to the Bay. They have a good, close connection to the mission, and they're amazing. But the Masons support us. I can't say anything about too much. I mean, they're amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing men. They staff all of our rest stops. It's crazy. And then, of course,
Oh, wow.
2020 Group
Yep.
coming in strong all the
Yeah,
time. Motto
always.
Mortgage, too. But yeah, and they, a rest stop for 2020 is great because, like, we theme it out as an open house.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And
So
take care of all the people that come through it everywhere. 'cause-
100%.
So I've done that for the last few years, but from now on, I'm just going to do the biking.
Yes.
Like instead of just doing, we got enough people on the team that can handle that, but I like the biking way better.
And that's what Drew, I mean, and Jackie, I know you know this, and Jackie and I, the team that she procures really is people that are like-minded in this way, that we really want to give back. I mean, from the cycling events to the things she's doing in Lorraine to the things that, to our golf outing that's coming up for Pets for Vets.
Which I'll be playing in that this
And
year.
I'll be there too, and that's what's important, I mean,
Yeah.
you can talk all day long about making money and that's awesome. But at the end of the day, if you're not kind of, one hand kind of just doesn't help the other, I don't know what it's for.
Yeah. So as far as the dates, what are the dates looking like?
Dates for this year are August 9th and the 10th. Like I said, we start out at Baldwin Wallace, and for Baldwin Wallace, for those folks that are doing the 75 and the 100. And then for the folks that are doing the 35 mile that goes in and out of Sawmill Creek, obviously you can stay at Sawmill Creek. You can stay over on Friday night. We've partnered with the orchard there, the vineyard, that it's our last rest stop.
Okay. I didn't know there was a vineyard.
It is, yeah. Oh, yeah. And they're actually, more to come on this. We're going to kind of get the information out there, but we're going to have a little reception there for VIPs on that Friday for folks that are going to be out in Huron. We're really trying to kind of like loop in some more of that community feel,
Yeah.
and they were wonderful to work with. Did you go to that rest stop? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think the last one, was it the last rest stop?
Yeah, and it's the one that there was like something going on.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I thought, why not partner, with them? So I kind of rolled in, I talked to the lady, and she's like, yeah, next year we'll do something.
great
We'll make
idea.
sure. Yes. That rest stop is going to be our mission rest stop. And there is a group of ladies out of Lakewood who have MS that do a swim group. And they're going to be physically at that rest stop
Okay.
to make it like our mission focused rest stop.
Yeah, I'm super excited. So how can people register or how can they donate? And then, as far as rooms, how can they book rooms on Sawmill?
So many things. So they can definitely, they can go to the Bike MS website, bikems.org. And you can just Google 2025 Pedal to the Point, and that'll take you to our landing page. If you go under ride details, you'll see everything. You'll see the schedule event. You'll see all the accordions that kind of right there for you. There's going to be one that says travel and lodging, and you can click on the Sawmill link right there, and it'll tell you exactly what to put in for our room block and our discount. And if you don't like using the internet to do those things, then there is a phone number that you can call as well directly to Sawmill. I would say if you're going to do that now sooner than later, because those rooms tend to go.
Yeah, they book up fast.
They book up fast.
I've never gotten one.
But did you stay at BG last year, or you went home?
No, we got an Airbnb.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was like 4 minutes away. It was perfect.
Yes. Airbnb is a good one. We don't have those on our website, but we do partner with other hotels in the area. But the cool thing is that we also partner with the Bowling Green's Firelands campus, which is 2 minutes away.
Okay. I didn't
And
know
we
that.
shuttle people to that, and it's free. You can camp out there outside. You can camp on the inside with a sleeping bag. It's air conditioned. There's a pool table, there's TVs, all the things.
Oh,
So
that's sweet.
yeah, it's, a lot of people will camp out.
Okay, I didn't know that was even an option.
Yep. That is an option again for this year for sure. Last year was our first year to do that. And so it's kind of taken off a little bit, and this year it's coming back for sure. They're great.
Okay.
They've been so accommodating for us.
I'm excited. Should be a good time.
This year is going to be a good time because what we've learned is that, to manipulate the schedule a little bit, to tighten things up. That way they can enjoy the band a little bit. They're able to eat. We're going to start things a little earlier. That way, Team Village feels like a party, and that's really kind of what we want.
Okay.
So that's going to be fun. The other fun thing is that because of our Margaritaville theme, we are going to have a team tent decorating contest. And this is coming up next week that we're going to have this communication out. But so I've kind of decided that it would be super fun to lean into this theme. And each of the tents, the team tents, whoever wants to purchase a team tent can do so. Anybody could do that. Team tent's about $220. You can fundraise for it or whatever you want. But we're going to have folks with MS, board members, certain selected folks to be our judges, and they'll be able to kind of like vote on whoever, whose tent is the best, which is going to be super cool. Next week,
cool.
we have a recruitment
I
challenge.
can't wait to see the decorations.
Well, right.
Oh, yeah.
And how many margarita machines will there be?
I know.
It'll be like trick or treating.
Someone's going to set up a bar.
Well, they already kind of do. If you're in the know, I'm not advocating for this, by the way. I'm just reporting out what happens at Team Village. But yeah, I mean, it's a good time. What I will say is, so next week is a huge week for us because our registration fee right now is $50, and it's going to go to $60 on Thursday, May 29th. But we're going to be doing a team challenge from now until next Wednesday, the 28th, where the team with 3 or more rookie riders, that meaning first year riders, I don't necessarily love rookie riders and whatever, but first year riders gets a $50 Amazon gift card to decorate their team tent. And the team that has the overall most registrations, rookies or otherwise, will get a free team tent. So it's super cool. So, I mean, if you get 10 registrations, you very much could get a free team tent.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, 10 people is a good team. That's a good team.
It's a strong team.
Very strong team.
Strong team. 10 people at $300 a pop, you're looking at a pretty good sized team, strong team. And it doesn't have to be that. I mean, if you're at a 2-person team right now, it's very easy to get to 6, I encourage and here's the other biggest piece to this too. You don't have to ride to be on a team. You can be a virtual participant.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yep. And so let's say, your soon-to-be wife wants to join your all's team and she wants to fundraise herself, right? She can join your team as a virtual participant. Does not have to get on a bike.
Okay.
But in order to ride our route, they have to actually physically raise $300.
Okay.
So that's the minimum.
Okay, so each person raised $300.
Then they can get on our route. Otherwise, if they're virtual participants and they're raising a couple $100, they're flipping it a couple times on their Facebook, easy breezy, they can be on site and enjoy all of the fruits that, Sawmill Creek kind of has to offer.
Right. And the crazy thing about it is once you post it on Facebook, you'll have donations instantly. Like I did that last year.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I posted not that many times, but the first time I posted, $150. Easily.
Easy.
Within like 2 hours, I was just so surprised.
Well, and I think that, and I'm so glad that you brought that up because I often tell people the same thing because they keep saying that for the younger riders, quote unquote, that $300 is a barrier. And then I immediately thought of you. I immediately thought of myself, which I'm not a young rider, but I flipped this sucker on my Facebook once or twice, and I'm at $500.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
So that's not an excuse. And Donor Drive makes it so easy just to add your thing in, flip it a couple times, and you're in great shape.
Yeah. I mean, 10 people at $10. That's $100 right there.
$100. Yeah.
Or you can even ask family members like a couple bucks.
Yes.
Like anything helps.
Yeah.
I mean, $5, $10, it all adds up.
And if specifically then, you go one further and now you're telling your story. And then you go one further and you're saying, hey, listen, give me $1 for every mile I ride.
No, that's fair.
That's fair. Or back in the day, we used to do walkathons. I don't know if anybody remembers Walkathon, but we
No.
would actually get donations, $1 a mile or, 50 cents a mile or something. And you'd have to fill out this donation page and stuff. So these aren't new concepts. They've been made easier,
Yeah.
for us.
Refurbished.
Yeah.
Yeah, and okay, so let's switch over to like you being raised in Cleveland.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
you've lived on the east side and the west side. So what are some of your favorite spots to go in Cleveland as far as small shops or restaurants?
A million. Well,
Give me your top 5.
top one. Okay.
Because I might have to write some down because I don't think I have.
Okay.
Everything.
Well,
I have a big
Superior
list,
Foe
but-
is my favorite.
Oh, I've been to Superior Foe.
Superior Foe. I could walk there when I was a little girl. Superior Foe, hands down. In fact, I've been there probably twice in the last week.
It's so good.
It's just so good. Petty's Pizza is a big one, but that's in Wickliffe, Ohio. But
What is it?
Petty's, Petti''S. Petty's Pizza on Euclid Avenue, as my mom would say and my grandma would say.
That's where at?
It's in Wickliffe, Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah. My mother worked
I'm gonna have
there
to
when
try
she was
that.
little. Yeah. I mean, it's the best. Right now I live in Old Brooklyn. I live in the South Hills area of Old Brooklyn, so I can't not say Gabe's.
Gabe's is delicious.
Gabe's is delicious. And Gabe's has been there for so long. I can't remember. I can't remember what it was before. It wasn't Red Barn or Red Chimney. No, not Red Chimney. That's another one, Red Chimney. But it was something else. And I mean, I would go there like when I was pregnant with my daughter, and
Yeah.
Hallie's going to be 29 in June.
Yeah.
So it's like
They've been around forever.
they've been around forever. Yeah.
Have you seen the new it's called like Central Villa?
Central Villa. So this is a good segue to that. So I sit on the advisory council for the Minority Business Center there, and Helena, my really very good girlfriend Helena Rosa, she is the director for MBAC there, and so I sit on the Minority Business Access Center there, which is amazing.
For what? The city?
For the city of Cleveland, yeah. Actually, it's for the Department of Development for the city of Cleveland, and she's a development director. So what she does is she oversees and she provides access to minority business owners or small business owners to connect them to a business plan, how to create a business plan, how to search for funding, capital, small business loans, micro loans, that sort of thing. And she really can do like from beginning to end. I mean, she can take somebody who's been seasoned and maybe they're just trying to scale, or somebody who's just literally coming in, not just having an idea,
Right.
and then turning it into a business plan and so on and so forth. I mean, she can connect you with accountants, all of it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. And
And that's for minorities?
it's for minorities only at this time. Obviously grant funded, so I'm not sure exactly kind of where that's going to go. I think everybody's up and, whatever.
We'll see.
We will see. I'm optimistic.
Yeah.
I'm an eternal optimist. I think I've said this to you a long time. I mean, going and being in real estate just alone, since all the crashes, many crashes, 9/11, all of the things. I mean, things are cyclical,
Yeah.
so I think everybody just needs to calm down a sec and take a breath. But yeah, so Central Via is amazing. Trying to get Central Via to be a team.
That'd be sweet.
It'd be sweet.
Yeah.
There's a fundraiser who does walk, who has done bike there.
Okay.
That I'm trying to get back to do bike, and
I think you can do it.
I think I can do it. I'm almost positive I can do it. So
I gotta check that place out though, because I saw it on Instagram the other day and they had these like Venezuelan empanadas. I've never
Yes.
had one and it looks so good.
delicious.
Yeah, I need that in
Oh,
my
yeah.
life.
It's awesome just to pop in there to have lunch.
Yeah.
It's great, and they've got parking. It's so accessible. It's great.
The building's beautiful too, how it's different colors. Like they did a really good job on that.
They did.
And you got any other favorite places? It doesn't have to be food
Yo.
spot. It can be anything.
I mean, those are kind of, I think, my go-tos.
Okay.
Everything else, I think there's not. The thing about it, even living in the city, growing up in the city, for me, it feels like the city always surprises me. Like no matter what, everything that's popping up, I'm always learning stuff that's new. And just the cool things that are going on. I had a conversation today with a gentleman who is doing the Irish Bend project.
What is okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I mean, what they're finding there and what they're doing there, that's just so crazy awesome. And making it more accessible, like for downtown, and just creating these spaces that other cities have. It's a good time to be, I think, living in Cleveland.
I think so too. I think it's a great time. The next I think 5 to 10 years is going to look totally different.
I do think that. I also I think for us, we have a responsibility as realtors and as agents to really kind of pump the brakes a little bit on you know, some of the outsiders kind of coming in. And I don't want to sound, you know, like a curmudgeon in this way, because I do feel like there is a balance that could be had. But I also really feel very, very natively protective of what we are up to here, because we are on fresh water. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's not. Okay.
Yeah.
And we have to be able to understand, like, we can't just have people coming in and not knowing what they're doing to our communities too. So
yeah, I think Cleveland slept on a lot. As far as when it comes to big cities, like, we are very slept on, even compared to Columbus.
100%.
Which I would always live in Cleveland over Columbus. People have their opinions, but I like, you know, the summers here are amazing.
100%.
Yeah, we have all the sports teams, like,
And we have the sports teams.
Yeah, so
Who got robbed? So, yes.
Kelly, I appreciate you coming in today and sitting down with me. We had a good talk for a good amount of time, actually. This is actually my longest podcast so far.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think we probably could have went longer too, just because I'm a chatty Cathy. But
That's okay. I had Justin in here. He likes to talk too.
Oh, he does. Yes.
Yeah, so-
yes. All good things too.
Yeah, I look forward to the MS bike ride today, and hopefully, you know, it turned out to be well. And thanks for coming in.
Absolutely. Don't forget, we're going to have 75 and sunny that day, light, maybe breeze. BikeMS.org, pedal to the point. If you just by listening to this podcast, if you want to DM me or email me, please feel free to do so. My email is kelly.schneider@nmss.org, and I will give you a registration code for discount. Margaritaville 2025.
All right, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe so we can get more awareness to the Why Not Cleveland podcast. Other than that, you guys have a great day. Thanks.